I do want to welcome you all here, and I want to thank you for taking time out of your afternoons, even if it's because of CAM credits or cocktails afterwards. That's kind of maybe some of the reason, but I really believe it's because you guys wanted to hear what we have to say. This is great for us, and this is great for Private Client because this is our second seminar we've done in 2 years now. And I think those that were with us last year, you've seen this room grow. We've gone from our office now to here, and many more faces. So it's grown nicely, and we're going to keep doing these annually. And what we're going to do is we're going to reach out to you all and kind of get input from you all to find out what's the best time of the year you think these things should be held. We feel they're important. I think you guys all enjoy it, and we're going to continue them. One thing that Elaine said at the very beginning was that Private Client is committed to the condominium industry, and that's true. Because we kind of I look back maybe 6, 7 years now, and we made a commitment to having Private Client be a niche agency, and we are true to our niches. And it just so happens that the condominium industry, HOA, country clubs, it takes dedication, it takes 100% involvement, because if you don't have involvement in the industry, things change so rapidly that you may miss the boat. And if we miss the boat, that means the associations miss the boat. It just, this is a great industry. It's changing, it's exciting, it really is. My topic is Florida Insurance Company Basics and Market Rate Conditions. Well, it's really market conditions and where do we think the rates are going. There's sort of, there always has been, the admitted markets and the non-admitted markets. That's the first subject here. The admitted markets, back in the day when we all moved down here, or if you came down here recently, your northern states, pretty much the insurance companies that were here in the early 90s, they were here, they were up in the northern states also. So if your home was insured with State Farm, you could come down here and you could move your home to State Farm down here. That's not the case anymore, which you all know. The market has changed so much. Our admitted markets are no longer the State Farms, the Hartfords, the Travelers. Travelers is in the market for casualty, but they're no longer a market for property. Today we have, thank God for the American Strategic Insurance, we have American Capital Insurance, we have several other admitted markets. The non-admitted markets are, the misconception is that they are not licensed to do business in the state of Florida. They are. They have to go, they have to be licensed, and they pay a fee or a tax to the state of Florida to be able to do business here. Some of your non-admitted markets are some of the largest, most financially secure markets in the marketplace. You have Lexington Insurance Company, you have Empire Insurance Company, you have Scottsdale Insurance Company. A new player on the market right now is Companion. Companion's out there, they're owned by Blue Cross, whereas Empire's owned by Zurich, Lexington is owned by Chartis, and Empire's owned by Zurich, or Scottsdale's owned by Nationwide. To be an admitted market in the state of Florida, you got to fit in a box. You basically have to have your rates and your forms approved by the state of Florida, or the OIR, the Office of Insurance Regulation. If you fit in that box and you're approved, you now have the backing of the state of Florida, which is the Florida Guarantee Fund. Back in the day, back in the 90s, the Florida Guarantee Fund was a very, very solid fund. The state of Florida today is not quite in the same financial shape, but yet it is still there, and it's still there for the associations or the insolvent carrier that can't pay its claim. How that works is if an association or if an insurance carrier were to go insolvent prior to your claim being paid, the Florida Guarantee Fund will pay $100,000 per unit up to policy limits. So you have 10 units, you have $1 million limit, you're getting your $1 million. But if you have 12 units and you have $1 million limit, you're getting the $1 million limit. You're not ever getting more than the $1 million limit. Both of these carriers, both admitted and non-admitted, are AM Best or can be AM Best rated carriers. Your E&S markets, I think you're going to start seeing these players come into play more as citizens adjust. With what Randy said about the mitigation forms being challenged, Governor Scott is basically hell-bent to make Florida a more financially stable insurance state again. With that being said, Citizens is here, and for the most part, your E&S carriers are here. As Citizens starts adjusting on the north side, it's going to come to the E&S markets. And when that comes to play, you're going to start having more availability, but it's certainly going to be at a higher premium. And again, one of the things with non-admitted carriers, where you see them play the game the most is on your beaches. Your X-Wind business, and the X-Wind business, for those that aren't aware, it's basically anything that's on a barrier island or within 1,000 feet of the shoreline. Next topic is really, what is the OIR? The OIR is the Office of Insurance Regulation. Their primary function is to protect you, the citizen. They police over the insurance carriers. They enforce regulation. They enforce statutes. They make sure the insurance company's in compliance. And this goes not only for property casualty carriers, but life, health, and the surplus lines markets. All these rates have to be approved by the OIR. Coverages have to be approved by the OIR. The market conduct and the solvency of the carrier is always observed by the OIR. Now, what's really taken place recently, and I'm going to say recently, going back to 2004, is you really didn't see the new coming carriers that we see today. There are so many carriers coming in and going out. All these new carriers have to be approved by the OIR, but they have to go through a rating basis that I'll be discussing here in a short bit, and that's called Demotech. The insurance commissioner, or the OIR, the insurance commissioner is an appointed cabinet member, and that's Kevin McCarty, the most current one. Where I'm going to go from here is from admitted, non-admitted, to the insurance ratings and what's going on in that area. Basically, Demotech and AM Best go about the same way. There's a quantitative way and a qualitative way. And it's basically very common sense oriented. On a quantitative way, one, it's profitability. You have to show that you're a profitable company. It's combined operating ratio, profit to expenses, plus losses. Return on assets, and loss ratio. The investments, they have to be quality investments. You know, a lot of the insurance companies in the past got caught up in the subprime and the junk bond back in the 80s. Insurance companies can't be heavily leveraged. They have to have adequate liquidity, risk-based capital. Now, on the qualitative way, you know, again, where I went for the non-admitted carriers to get those AM Best rating, it's the parent affiliation. All the non-admitted carriers that we do business with are A-rated, AM Best A-rated. Again, as I said, they are some of the most sound carriers in the marketplace, but most of the time they have a very solid parent affiliation. They do have to have a competitive position in the marketplace. Their product, they've got to be able to offer a good, sound product to the marketplace. Geographical diversification. That's sort of where Randy and his company has gone. The reason that they have really separated themselves from the competition is because they've grown geographically. They're going in new states. By doing that, they're diversified, and they really have become a solid player in the market. They probably are the leader in the market right now. The company has to have adequate reserves, great management philosophy. They have to have stability in their performance, and they have to be, you know, they have to have consistency in the market. The most current ones in the state of Florida are AM Best and Demotech. You never heard about Demotech in the 90s. Demotech was really created to help the new carriers, the new Florida domiciled carriers, come into the market and be able to take charge. AM Best, it's, you know, you see the history of AM Best. They started in 1899, convenient name, Alfred M. Best. They basically have been around forever, and most people know of them. Demotech started in 1985. They really came into the industry reviewing the financial ratings of HMOs and health insurance companies. The key fact, though, for the Demotech rating carrier in the state of Florida is they were really brought in here to give the ACI, the American Coastal Insurance Companies, the Universal North Americas, the Sunshine States, the Federateds, those players, and amongst so many others who are just writing homeowners insurance, they came into the marketplace so that Fannie and Freddie would be able to supply a mortgage on the building, whether it be a house or whether it be a unit in a condominium. They really have played a huge purpose here. Florida brought them in 1996. Again, like I said, they weren't utilized until later on in the mid 2000s because of the storms that we got hit with. You know, going into the market conditions, Florida is still so thirsty for players. We just don't have enough of them. I will never take a shot at any of the players that are writing business here because we need every single one of them. Florida offers challenges. It's frustrating. And I will tell you it's exhilarating in August and September. If you've got to bind something and you're trying to find a market for it, it can be challenging. Right now in the state of Florida, we have 9 carriers writing business consistently. Out of those 9, you have 8 admitted carriers. Out of the 8 admitted carriers, you have 4 AM Best rated carriers, and you have 4 Demotech rated carriers. Out of those, again, you have 1 that will write insurance going all the way back to 1980. With that being said, Citizens, as Randy said, plays such a vital role because if it wasn't for those players, there would be so many of these other insurance companies or so many associations and properties that would be left in the dust and have to be insured by Citizens. Most of the carriers have a criteria of you have to be built from 1995 to present. Randy's company, American Strategic and American Capital, they're very stringent, but they're stringent because they want a solid book of business. They've been very aggressive. They've been here. They've got great risk management procedures, but their underwriting guidelines is that you have to be built from 2001 or newer. But they play a very, very vital part in our marketplace. The one not admitted carrier is Empire Indemnity. Empire, and even though they're competition to Randy, I think Randy would still agree they're a vital player in our market, and we need them. They are an A15. They're probably the largest of all carriers, and as I said, they're owned by Zurich Insurance Company. Citizens, it's a moving target. And that's, again, why we have to keep our finger on the pulse at all times. I do see a lot of changes on the horizon. Actually, we thought we were going to see more changes on the horizon with Citizens this particular session. The 10% increase that they held firm on, I think that was great for the Citizens. It's hard if we take that whacking that we possibly could get. What's going to happen, though, are these mitigation credits. These mitigation credits are going to start affecting those policies that we've been able to write really so cost effectively for so long. We're going to see the increase. It's coming, and we all need to be prepared for that increase because we've been really on the downside for the last 4 or 5 years now. As far as legislative effects, like I said, right now, Governor Scott is hell-bent to make Florida, again, a financially sound state. Back early 90s, late 80s, Florida was one of the most attractive states to do business with from an insurance company standpoint. Today, I think we're second on the worst side next to Louisiana. We're trying to do everything we can to get the Hartfords, the Travelers, the Cincinnatis, the USAAs to come back into the marketplace, which will start driving the market up for the short term, but we really hope it's going to drive the market back down in the long term. And I know it's going to offer a lot of stability back to the marketplace.